Lando Norris betrayed by the press. Ladies and gentlemen, did you see the press conference from Brazil? Lando Norris wins the race. And he says his performance was affected because he got betrayed by the press. Did I actually hear those words come out of his mouth? Betrayed by people who've never driven a racing car in their life. Even if they've done a day visit to Silverstone or Donington or Brands Hatch, they did that leisure day out. And he's going to feel betrayed by them? Lando, first of all, where's your thick skin? And when did the press have anything to do with anything of driving? Let's get into it, lads.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front. What a move from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh.
All right, lads, we need to talk about Oscar Piastri first of all. The sprint race. He goes off into the tyre wall, or into the barrier. Oh, lads, okay. You know, I'm in conflict here. I gotta admit, I am in conflict here. I have been talking about Lando Norris, that he's been the assassin all year. Now look, guys, I'm the first in the world to say if I'm wrong, I'll put my hands in the air. I don't know if this was a pressure mistake or just a mistake. Now, you had Hulkenberg and Colapinto go into the same wall as him, just right behind him. Now, I think, so guys, coming out of turn 2 into turn 3, okay, it's a flat out corner. He gets on the curb, and it's the track is drying up at the moment here. So sometimes those curbs can hold the water, and it's a blind spot in a way to a degree. Now, here's the thing. Why was he using the curb? He should have known. He should have known that the curbs can be potentially dodgy, especially coming out when the track is starting to dry up again here. Was this a pressure mistake? Huh. Well, I guess it was. I guess it was. Man, I can't even believe we've got to this stage. Now all of a sudden, Lando Norris is the man. I mean, 2 races ago, Oscar Piastri was the guy. Now all of a sudden, it's Lando Norris. And is Piastri making these mistakes? It's hard for me to get my head around this. Very hard for me to get my head around this. I guess we're going to have to go with he did make a pressure mistake. And guys, I've been going for him all year, right? Now, obviously, I wanted Verstappen to come back and win the whole championship. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But this is not looking good. You can argue, guys, that Colapinto and Hulkenberg did the exact same thing. So Piastri went off first, then the 2 boys came off straight after him. Now, I think Martin Brundle was correct on this one. In fact, I even didn't spot this until Brundle said it. Brundle said that because Piastri got on that wet patch on that curb, right? So then when he spun off, he brought a bit more water onto the track because he went on the curb in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, smacking your hand into a puddle, guys, and it just goes everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing here. And I think that's what caught out Hulkenberg and Colapinto. Now, then again, maybe we're wrong. I don't think so. Now, look, before we hang the kid out to dry completely, Piastri, let's be fair. Those conditions are tricky. But at the same time, no, I'm hanging him out to dry. F him. He shouldn't be making these mistakes. Guys, we all make mistakes. Now, look, when I said at Baku that he fell asleep at the wheel, he did fall asleep at the wheel, right? He was 31 points ahead. This is Piastri. Okay, now he's 24 behind. He was 31 ahead. And he just got lazy. That wasn't a pressure mistake. This one was a pressure mistake. It was, man. And, when you're fighting for the championship, when your name's sitting right there beside Verstappen and Norris, you don't ride that curb when it's half damp, half dry. Every driver knows this. They know this. The track can look dry, but you be careful of those curbs, man, because yes, the track will dry up eventually to a point where you can ride the curbs. But they've just come out. They just came out of the track. Just still that little edge. I mean, guys, I've been in so many situations here myself where you're driving, okay, and the track looks bone dry, even though there's still, it's 99% dry. But all of a sudden, you know that you're going to go up onto, let's say, whatever, turn 4 or turn 5 out the back, and there'll still be a damp patch, okay? Or it's still even just a sprinkle off full grip, because there's trees surrounding the track, right? The sunlight's not getting onto the track. It's not drying it up quicker. So it can be a little damp up there. And, you could almost see this coming, the way the rear twitched, lads. It wasn't a pure bad luck slide. It was a case of trying to carry. And here's the thing. No, not carry. It's a flat out corner. So it's not like the curb is going to help you maximize the power here. It's an easy flat out corner. Now, if the track is a bit damp going through here, you're not, I don't think you're going to go through flat out, okay? Depending on your setup, etc., and what tires. But if the track is dry, which it was, he was all good, man. He was all good. If we rewind just only a few races ago, lads, the guy was cruising. He had a 31-point lead. He was looking like the assassin. And, and then, from Baku to now this, to now last weekend, and when you relax in motorsport and any career, any sport, and in general, that's when you can get smacked across the face. And he went from being the hunter to being the hunted, and he didn't like it. Now, we'll flip the script today. The tables have turned. He's chasing Norris. He's chasing the guy in the same team, the same car, the same outfit. And I mean, it can be hell for a driver sometimes too. It really can, because the tension in the team. No, it can be the same for Norris too. So I ain't, poor Oscar Piastri. Absolutely not. You can't blame the weather, buddy, on this one. Are McLaren favoriting Norris? It looks like at the moment they are. However, no mistake for that mistake. Or no excuses for that mistake, guys. Not even speaking English. I don't know where we go with this. It's the thing. Piastri did need this. He was leading, trailing by 1 point. And look, guys, I get it. Sometimes we need to be punched in the face in life to show who we really are. Are you gonna bounce back? Are you gonna fight back? Are you gonna win again? It's almost like sometimes there's a mirror held up in front of us. But there's been too many mistakes now, man. This is the championship stage, the part where mistakes either make or they break you. And because pressure, it can change people. And Lando Norris, he was off, and now he's on. The guy's looking untouchable. I mean, guys, if you've heard all my other podcasts, I've been ditching this guy so many times, Norris, it's unbelievable. But all of a sudden he's looking untouchable. What's going on here? And the tricky part here is that Piastri, for him, the stakes are very, very high. The spotlight is harsher. The rivals are going to hunt him down. And Verstappen, he's had a disaster weekend, but still, he's hunting. But I don't know, man. The real question for Oscar Piastri now, can he redeem himself? Yes, he can. I think he can, because you know why? Yes, he's been, I hate saying this. He's been buckling under the pressure. I hate saying this about him, because I love him. But This is a situation where if he comes out of the gates, gloves are off for the next 3 races, and he is just untouchable himself now versus Norris and Verstappen, then he could redeem himself, because there's so much pressure on him now that if he messes up, well, it's just because of the pressure that's on him now. But if he redeems himself and he comes out untouchable, he's risen against the pressure now. Now, you could argue with me and say, well, look, he's way behind in the points now, so he's got nothing to lose. Well, I think people are looking at him differently now, guys. This isn't, oh, the guy had just some bad luck there, and hey, how are you, Oscar? People are looking at him going, is this guy buckling? And Oscar Piastri knows this. Okay, let's get on to the actual main event, the main Grand Prix itself, lads, right? Now, we're going to talk about Oscar Piastri here again. Now, I've just been slating the poor lad, but I'm actually standing up for him here on this one. The Grand Prix itself, guys, he went for the inside line into Antonelli, and he gets a penalty. Are you joking me? Are you joking me? He goes for an inside line. Antonelli didn't give him much space in the middle. Now, Antonelli was in a bit of an uncomfortable, not dodgy position, but he was in a position where you can see why he didn't give him room, but you could see why he could have given him room to. Guys, it was just a racing incident. It was just a racing incident. And for him to get that penalty, I mean, like, okay, he made that mistake in the sprint. Okay, it wasn't the huge amount of points, but it did show a reflection of where Oscar Piastri is mentally here, I think. But this was the Grand Prix. This was major points. And, okay, I don't think he would have won the race. I don't think so. I think Lando Norris was just too quick, man. Way too quick. And, hats off to him for it. But the FIA are messing with people's lives here. Now, guys, I'm not taking anything away what we just talked about the pressure Piastri's under and him crumbling under the pressure, okay? I'm not taking that away. But these guys are still tampering. Isn't it amazing the way other people can affect your life? Now, Piastri, it's not all the FIA's fault either. Because very simply put, he shouldn't have made the mistake in Baku. He shouldn't have made the mistakes the last Grand Prix. He shouldn't have made the mistake now, right? It's all on him. But I'm just saying in general, guys, isn't it amazing the way, like, even if Piastri didn't make mistakes, let's say he was untouchable, perfect, flawless, right? Nothing. Yet the FIA can come along and just penalise you for nothing, It was a racing incident. You see, this is the problem here. This is the problem. We have guys in the FIA being the referees who've never raced in their life. They've never raced in their life. Oh, I mean, where are we getting these guys? Because now, guys, we have a system here in the FIA. He knows that even when you could do something right, and hey, by the way, I'm speaking up for every F1 driver here, even when they do everything right, you might still get punished here. I mean, who's observing the FIA? We need a police squad here to be keeping an eye on the FIA dudes. These guys are running the show? These guys are running the show? Who put them in charge? How did they get to this stage? Have they even done a karting race where they were chief of the clerk of the course? Have they ever done that before? Have they even done a Formula Ford race? Formula 3, Formula 2? I mean, what? Oh, guys, I'm not even just on about that because, Piastri's my boy and all that. Well, actually, I was more Verstappen than Piastri for the last couple of races, but I'm not just standing up for Piastri here. I'm on about for a lot of the drivers, Hamilton's got screwed this year. I don't even like Hamilton, and he's got absolutely and utterly shafted with some of these calls this year. It's appalling what's going on. Well, it seems to me that this podcast is just a bitch session here, lads. I'm having a good go off them. Go off everybody here today. We're not finished. Well, let me get started now, lads, on Lando Norris in a second. Oh, gee. But anyway, okay, 3 rounds left, 1 more sprint. And Lando Norris is sitting ahead with 24 points clear of Oscar Piastri. Now, he's 49 points ahead of Max Verstappen, who's in third. So, even here at this stage, you've got to be calling it a night for Max Verstappen. And I'm sorry, any Red Bull fans out there, I'm sorry. Look, I've been going for him here as well, okay? I've been go Max, but it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. I mean, the guy's basically got to win. He's got to win now, and the two boys to take each other off. Or just exit. Now, okay, it's possible. Man, we've been talking about this for a lot, haven't we? We've been going through this so many times. I feel like I'm on repeat here, lads. It's over, man. It's over. You know, I gotta say, even Verstappen, I watched the conference afterwards, right? The interview guys. So Verstappen finishes third. And he says in the interview that the championship wasn't lost this weekend, it was lost a few races ago. Quote me, forgive me if I didn't quote him exactly, but Verstappen's writing the year off now. It's over. He's now, that's not him being negative. That's just him being realistic. You can't blame the guy for thinking this at this stage, okay? Because the McLarens are so quick. They're so reliable. Even though Piastri's car, I don't know what I don't know what to make of this. I really don't. But Lando Norris's car, wow, the car is just untouchable for the last two races. And Verstappen's writing it off. Is he turning into a negative Nelly here, lads? Is this what we're talking about, or is he being real? Interested to know what you think. And we're cutting it short today, lads. But we're going to go on to one last thing here. Look, I even have a podcast podcast episode that it's called "Is Lando Norris Actually Gay?" Okay, and it's actually picking up a lot of traction, I gotta admit. And I go through, is he gay? Because the way he acts around Carlos Sainz a lot of the time is very, very odd. Bit too handsy, touchy, feely. A bit all over the shop. In fact, I question mark over Carlos Sainz as well, I gotta admit. But let's keep on Lando Norris. Now, there's nothing wrong with being gay, okay? Of course there's not. There's nothing wrong with it. I couldn't give a crap. He just comes across as a little sensitive little boy. And by the way, I'm not saying that gay or lesbians or straight people that, oh, if you're gay, you're sensitive. If you're a lesbian, you're sensitive. If you're straight, you're... I'm not going on with that. No, absolutely not, guys. So don't get the wrong end of the stick here. He just has this very timid, sensitive side. Now, if there was ever a time that he really highlights that, is today. He says in the press conference that some of his performances were not on par, were not ticking all the boxes and on the ball, because he got betrayed by the press and it affected him. Can you imagine Tiger Woods saying that? Can you imagine Michael Jordan back in the day saying that? Can you imagine Ayrton Senna saying that? That some, I don't know, jerk off in the back was bitching about you in the press, and that's going to affect you. I mean, these guys, the journalists that write about that write about Formula One guys, these guys have never done a day's racing in their life. They don't have a clue what it's like to get in there. They don't have a clue what it's like to put your life on the line. They don't have a clue of all the mental hard work that needs to be put in for all of the drivers. And he's getting betrayed. This is affecting him. This doesn't add up for me here in my head. I just, for the love of God, I don't know where we're going with this. I mean, what's next? Is he come out with a pink suit? Is that what's next? Or is he going to say that, Max, you squeeze me a bit too much in the corner there, I'm offended. Is that where we're going next? I mean, and I'll tell you guys, I guarantee you, Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli, who were in the press conference with him yesterday, were grinning to themselves when they heard that, because they went, oh my God, he actually cares what they think. And they're like delighted with themselves because they know they have him. They know they have him now. And for Lando Norris to actually even admit that, like, okay, the press betray you, even though, and I'm going to stand up for the press here. They're not betraying him. This is their job, right? They talk crap. They talk good about you. They can go either which way, right? Suck it up, sunshine, and get on with it. Oh my God, betrayed. What are they, your boyfriend, your girlfriend? Lads, very disappointing day in Formula 1 today. Look, Lando Norris, I've met drivers like him. I've raced against drivers like Lando Norris. Lando is definitely the type of guy that if you're going out on the piss, you're going out drinking with the lads, first guy you're getting onto is Lando Norris. No question. He's your party boy. He's your fun, right? And I love him. And he is a nice guy. But I've been saying this all year, man. The guy just doesn't mentally have it. He just doesn't mentally have it. He doesn't. He doesn't. And for him to actually say that out loud, even if you are getting psyched out, that's what you're calling it here, psyched out by the press, you don't admit that out loud because you don't want your enemy to see your weakness. You don't want them to see your weakness. Can everybody relate to this one? I mean, obviously, guys, look, whether you're a racer or you're not, you're an accountant, you're whatever you are, right, in your life, there's some things that you won't admit to others because you might get hounded, you might get laughed at, you might get humiliated about, right? Everybody's got something that we don't admit to our friends or your boss, your employees, your whoever, you know? There's things that we keep under wraps. And for Lando Norris to say that today was, oh Lord. And you know, if this guy goes on to win the championship, you might think I'm exaggerating, guys, but it's going to be a very, very dark day if Lando Norris wins this championship. This is the same guy that says that he's betrayed by the press. Do you really want a guy like that winning the championship? Does that really set the benchmark of champions, mentally tough race winners? Go for that extra little oomph, you know? Like even guys for this Brazilian Grand Prix preview, I talked about Senna. Hell, I think I was even in tears talking about him. The guy wins in fifth gear around Interlagos track and he dominates. And he couldn't get out of the car because his whole body seized up with muscle spasms. Do you think Lando Norris would have kept going? It's going to be a dark day, guys, if he wins the championship. I mean, we're not talking Adolf Hitler winning the championship here, but we're talking about this guy. He cannot be made as an example. It's the wrong type of person. Because all of a sudden, what we're going to have next? Oh, people listening to Lando Norris, then they go, oh, he wins the championship, let's say he does. And guess what's going to happen? Kids are watching this conference now who are going into racing. And if they get one bad mention on a social media post by a journalist, they're going to remember that Lando Norris had the same thing and they're like Lando now. But it's okay. Everything's okay. Because, hey, we can get offended, but we can still go on and win the championship. And the problem is, winning the championship then glosses over who you really are. Who you really are. It's a false sense of security. It's a false sense of winning, domination. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there today. A nice and short one today. But we'll be back. We'll be back with more racing. Vegas is up next. Viva Las Vegas, baby. We'll be talking about next week more F1 news. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Good luck.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move. He's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front. What a move from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh.